Hey guys, never done anything like this before, but I recently got my COVID vaccine roughly 3 hours ago now. Feel great. Not even my arm's not sore or anything at all yet, knock on wood. But I was getting a lot of questions about it, and so I wanted to make a quick little video to kind of go over just the general questions I've been getting, so I don't feel like I keep repeating myself over to people. And if you know me, you know I can get really passionate and go off on a bunch of rants about science, so I'll try to keep this quick and concise. Basically, the COVID vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. What that means is that it's kind of like a genetic code, a message that goes into your cells and tells it to make a certain thing. In this case, it is the spike protein that is found on the outside of coronavirus. So I drew you a little picture, not a good artist, but basically, if this were coronavirus, the bad stuff that does all the things with our respiratory system, etc., inside this shell, okay? Outside of the shell has these spike proteins. Basically, the spike proteins are there to make it more virulent, make it a better invader to our own cells. So this vaccine is brilliant in the way that it is against the spike protein, the outer kind of like, hey, I'm coronavirus, but I'm not the inside bad material of coronavirus. So this mRNA vaccine goes into our cells, makes the spike protein. Our immune system sees that and says, whoa, you're not part of me. I'm going to create antibodies against you to kill you. So our own cells make antibodies against the spike protein and kill it. Best part is our immune system then remembers what that spike protein is, so that if we're ever infected with that spike protein, aka coronavirus with the outer spike protein, it knows to kill it. It knows it's not us, and we can go right away at it because we've created that memory, that immunity towards it. Now, the difference between being infected with actual coronavirus and getting this vaccine is the difference between our own natural immunity and immunity that you can get with a vaccine that doesn't have the bad stuff in it. So we can give you like more, and you can create a stronger memory, a stronger immunity, especially with these other doses that can create antibodies at a logarithmic scale. So that's getting a little deep into the science woods there, but basically, our natural immunity, if you were to get coronavirus and have, a mild reaction to it and, have it for maybe like 10 days or so, your natural immunity is going to create so many antibodies. If I'm making up numbers, let's just go round numbers, say it creates 1,000 antibodies, okay? Made up number, arbitrary, but still, 1,000 antibodies. Those antibodies are going to diminish over time. So in what we've seen, 3 months, maybe most 6 months, that's why you get the 3 months or 6 months that you've been hearing, your antibodies might be gone and you can get it again. That's why you've seen that you can get coronavirus again, because your antibodies reduce in your natural immunity. Now, immunity with a vaccine is different because we're not giving you actual coronavirus. We're not giving you the bad guy inside. We're giving you an mRNA that makes just the outer spike protein, okay? So that spike protein, we can give you a lot more of a potent dose, I guess. We can give you a lot more of it so that, say, you create 1,000,000 antibodies, okay? So you have 1,000,000 antibodies to the spike protein, and then you get another dose 3 weeks later that then can give you 100,000,000 antibodies. So yes, those antibodies are going to keep diminishing over time, just like your natural immunity. However, you started out with a ton more, and it's more of a logarithmic thing. So then those will keep reducing as well, but the hope is that you can have those for a lifetime. Now, we don't know how long that lasts yet, but that's in the works. That's studying to see how long that this immunity will last. Science and history shows us that the vaccine immunity, what we're doing here, lasts a lot longer than your natural immunity. Now, the difference I'm seeing with people who are saying, we'll get herd immunity and things like that just from corona, that's why getting the actual just disease doesn't create herd immunity. We've never had herd immunity be achieved in history from an infection without a vaccine, period. that's why we have vaccines. That's why they're so awesome and why they work. And then people who are talking about chickenpox. So COVID is not like chickenpox. So chickenpox is one of the viruses. Chickenpox and HPV are kind of some exceptions to not getting it ever again. The reason you only get those ones one time is because they never leave your system. They never leave your body. So chickenpox, for example, if you get it, you can never get it again because you never clear it. You never get rid of the infection. That is a virus that stays latent or asleep in your nerve cells forever. And that's why you can get shingles later in life. But it is also why you can never get it again because it never leaves. So that virus is an exception. That's not COVID. Another interesting thing about COVID, people are saying how it's going to mutate and we're going to need a new one every year. So not likely, could happen, but let me tell you a little different. The flu virus that we have to get every year, it's a segmented virus. Basically what that means is that it's made up of different portions of the virus that can all rotate in different segments that can go together in different ways and organize in different ways. And that's why you need a different vaccine every year, because every year it kind of moves around. Coronavirus is not a segmented virus. It doesn't do that same sort of thing. Additionally, when you're seeing that, coronavirus mutated again, and people are all like, this vaccine now won't even cover it because it mutated. No, different thing. So it mutates, most likely the RNA inside here is what's mutating a little bit. The spike protein is still going to be on the outside of it, and the vaccine will still work. That's why this vaccine is so brilliant, because it's against the outer shell, not the inside stuff that is more likely to mutate at a higher rate. The outer shell will still be there. And say it mutates crazy, really big, and the spike protein is no longer there, that'll make it less virulent, so it won't be able to get into our cells as well, and it won't have its best kind of invader on its outside anymore, which is great and why this vaccine is awesome. So people are like, how did this come together so quickly? I don't trust something that can be made so quickly. Now, the science for mRNA vaccines has been going on for a while. However, with a pandemic, we funded a ton of money into it. When you put a ton of money into something, it can advance the research quickly. So this isn't new research. It's been here for a while. You shove a ton of money at it and you're going to get the product, and that's what we see here. It's not necessarily a miracle or something. It's just money. Money talks. They wanted it to be done. Vaccines normally aren't a lucrative thing for big companies. Now it was, and now you're seeing it coming, so that is awesome. Last kind of thing, I wanted to go over the timeline. So I got my first dose today. I get my second dose of the Pfizer vaccine in 3 weeks. They have seen 95% successful immunity 2 weeks from that. So that is 5 weeks in total from today, my first dose. I should see or hope to see 95% immunity. And that is absolutely awesome. So if you guys have any more questions for me, I love talking about science. I would love to go over it. But those are kind of the bread and butter things I wanted to get across. So stay safe out there, guys.